manapa, overcome amanapa, then overcome manapa, amanapa, then live under the sammuti. Then how do we live under the sammuti? Because when we are living in sammuti, always we are in manapa or amanapa or manapa amanapa.
See, the first thing is that we need to practice phassa. Okay, now for the practice of phassa, it is like in the what is that? Anapana Sati Katha, where Sariputta explains how to do that. So we should look at the touch point wherever it is in the body, not the feeling arising out of it. What we are doing in the Vipassana is a feeling. What we are supposed to do is phassa. You will get 3 if you only take phassa. You will be able to understand the vedana, then you will be able to understand the sanya, you will be able to understand the sankhara. Because phassa samudayo, vedana samudayo, phassa samudayo, sanya samudayo, phassa samudayo, sankhara samudayo. All the 3 is possible if you see through phassa. If I see through vedana, then the sanya is not possible. I will get the feeling and then the associated I can make out what is this feeling. That is sanya. So based upon the feeling I can say this is a dukkha vedana, sukha vedana, like that. Basically, if I want to understand phassa, let's take breath. Now, objective should be to watch the breath touching the nostril without you going along with it. Meaning you should not look at the feeling what you are getting out of the breath touching your nostril. Can you remain like that? Is the question. That is what he asks in the Anapana Sati Katha. Can you do like that?
Can you tell me again it?
See, now you are sitting in that place, right? Now you are supposed to watch the breath. Just watch the touch of the breath.
As soon as I know the touch, as soon as I know the touch, then feeling is having.
No, you shouldn't do that. First step is only the phassa. See, phassa pache vedana. Okay. So without the touch, nothing can happen. That's the reason in many suttas, Buddha talk about phassa pussati. So first we have to understand the touch. The eyes touches the sight through the vinyana. Chakuncha paticha rupecha upajati chakku vinyanam tinna sangati phasso. So without really understanding what is phassa, we will be only dealing with vedana. Now when it comes to vedana, you will have 3 vedana. Sukha vedana, dukkha vedana, adukha sukha vedana. Or you can have manapa, amanapa. So they are same thing. Manapa means agreeable. Amanapa means disagreeable. Manapa is neutral. Okay. Now all of this is samuchi, meaning conventional. And once you know this is conventional, you should stay in conventional, because you will be seeing object, you will be hearing object, you will be tasting object, touching object. The 6 senses are going to be there. So you should not go behind them. Like in the Majjhe Sutta, it explains how you should do it. So the next one I was supposed to take is the Majjhe Sutta only. So
when you are describing this, I practiced it this moment. Then actually when you are describing this, I was practicing it now. At that moment, actually no vedana.
yes. There is no Vedana.
But there is, but whole body had Preeti.
Immediately you get Piti, Sukha, Ekagata.
Yeah, whole body becomes Preeti Sukha.
Yes.
But how will you discriminate between no Vedana and adukha sukha Vedana?
No, the no Vedana. See, I'll tell you what. If you are on phassa, just the phassa, that pachaya is not there. And that's the practice you need to see. You just watch the breath, meaning touching the place. Irrespective of whatever you are doing, you just watch the breath touching the nostril. After some time, there won't be any Vedana. There won't be Sukha Vedana.
So in other words, we used to keep saying this, that be in upekha, right?
Yeah,
So
upekha.
if you are in upekha, if one doesn't understand, how can you break phassa and vedana? The other way I can explain is be in upekha. Other way I can explain is you the upadan or the sakkayas will not arise, because that will not be a touch between subject and object. That means if you are distant from this experience, you are not part of the experience, then there is no Vedana to say.
Correct. So instead of complicating so much, Sachin, what I was telling him is just watch the touch everywhere. Like I'm sitting on the chair, just watch the touch. Don't have to say what it is. Don't have to conceptualize, which is nimitta. Don't have to do that. Just the touch. Now I'm keeping my hand on the chair.
So when I watch the touch, let's say of breath, two examples, watching the touch of a neutral thing like a breath, or watching a touch of a painful thing. For example, my back is paining. Okay, let's set this example first. I'm watching the breath. The moment I understand this is the breath, the Vedana has happened, right?
No.
The real touch things, you are just observing the touch, which is not resulting into, okay, this is breath. No?
Yes. It'll only feel that you will have only the touch. I don't want to use the word feeling of touch. Then again we are
Yeah.
connecting it.
Correct. So feeling of breath should not come. This is breath, is a concept.
Yes.
Because there is nothing called breath ideally, right?
Yes.
Breath is a human idea.
Correct. Absolutely correct. So if I can stay in that breath, touch, the touch of the air going up and down in the nostril, and I am not going along with it.
Yeah. So first, for a heavy person, first is remove the concept of I am breathing.
Correct.
Then there is just breathing is there.
Correct.
Then go further deeper. There is nothing called breathing.
Yes.
Only this touch, which I cannot define what it is, that point, if you read, it is just phassa.
Yes. So when you are in phassa, you will see how it arises, how it passes away.
How, what arises?
Everything, the
Breath.
vedana, sanya, sankhara.
Yeah, the concept of breath, along with this five aggregate of breath,
Yes.
arises. Okay, this is breath, this is the feeling of breath, this is this everything, right?
Correct.
But when you are just touch, there is no five aggregate there.
Forget all about that. Okay, now you're connecting the dots. Don't do that. It's like this, Sachin. What he says, phassa samudayo, vedana samudayo. Phassa samudayo, sanya samudayo. Phassa samudayo, sankhara samudayo. Keep this in one side. Chakuncha paticcha rupecha upajati chakku vinyanam tinna sangati phasso. Now, that phassa has three. Vedana, sanya, sankhara. So in the chakku and this rupa, sota and the shabda, like that, all the three happen. Meaning, you will have a feeling that you are watching. You have a feeling you are hearing. Then the sanya takes over. Then you do something about it, which is sankhara. So out of the five aggregates, if I were to understand it correctly on the ayatana, Chakuncha paticca rupecha upajjati chakku vinyanam tinna sangati phasso. I need to stop there. I shouldn't go further than that. That is what he says. Dite dite mattam, sute sute mattam, mute mute mattam, vinyate vinyate mattam. In the simile of in the Majjhe Sutta, if you take phassa as one end, phassa samudayo as another end, phassa nirodho as the middle, and tanha is the seamstress.
Can I apply the same prototype to everything, like Vedana is one and Vedana Samudaya is another?
Yeah, it is there in the same Majjhe Sutta. It is there.
Yeah.
If you
So on every node of the 12 node, this applies, right? The primordial.
I will just tell you. Next one. Sukha avuso vedana eko anto, dukkha vedana dutiyo anto, adukha asukama vedana majhe, tanha sibbani, tanha hi nam sibbati tassa tasseva bhavasa abhinibittaya. Okay. Then there is another. This is good one for you. Cha ko avuso ajattikani ayatanani eko anto, cha bahirani ayatanani dutiyo anto. Vinyanam majhe tanha sibbani. You take whichever you want. Now you take phassa, or you take this, or take whatever. The missing portion is the middle one. The first one, the middle one is nirodha. That is phassa nirodha. The second one, if you see the where he says about the sukha dukkha, adukha sukha vedana is a majhe. That is not seen, because you will connect. You want sukha, you don't want dukkha. So sukha eko anto, dukkho dutiyo anto, adukha sukha majhe tanha sibbani.
Okay, so what Buddha is trying to say is the middle we are not able to see.
Exactly.
And that is because of craving.
Middle is phassa. Just take this. That is the phassa nirodha is happening, right? It's just the phassa. If you understand phassa, you have understood the entire Buddha Dhamma.
You mean to say middle of everything is phassa, even sukha dukkha. Middle is adukha sukha.
Adukha sukha is again a feeling, right, which is caused out of phassa.
Okay, that one.
Right. And the six senses is also phassa. Why that? Nama and rupa. See, namam ko avuso eko anto, rupam dutiyo anto, vinyane majhe tanha sibbani. See, it is connecting two non-related into one by vinyana. So what he says, chakuncha paticca rupecha upajjati chakku vinyana. Independence of eye and the sight. Eye should be there and sight should be there. Ear should be there and sound should be there. Now you get a vinyana. Is knowing. What is vinyana? Is knowing. What it is. Knowing. You just know. Chakku vinyana. These three is phassa. So if you just watch the touch everywhere, you will get into neutrality. Call it by whatever you want to. Adukha, sukha, or whatever name we can give. But you come into middle. In that middle, no breath will exist. Because nirodha will happen. So that's a practice we need to do. Not watching the sensation appearing on the body, that is fine, but then you are already in it. If you don't want that, you should only watch the phassa. So now let's say I am doing vipassana. First 3 days, anapana sati, anapana is what is said. Okay, good. What I should do? Watch the breath touching the nostril. That's it. Not touching the lips or whatever. Okay, fine. Even I can take that. But watch only the touch. Can I do that? Is the question. And can I do it for a long period of time? A whole day. Even if I am doing whatever I am doing, I am only watching the phassa. If I am walking on the floor, phassa. If I am sitting in the chair, phassa. Just the phassa, not about a vedana. Sukha vedana, dukha vedana, sukha dukha. Then you see the majje. And he has put another one. Sakhaya ko avuso eko anto. Sakhaya samudaya dutiyo anto. Sakhaya nirodho majje. That's again not seen. And last one, I think, this was the last one. And another thing, यथावत्तको आवसो भिक्खु अभिन्नेयम अभिजानाति परिन्नेयम परिजानाति अभिन्नेयम अभिजानातो परिन्नेयम परिजानातो दिट्ठेव धम्मे दुःखस्य अंतकारो होति. So now let's understand this in a very clear perspective. Phassa eko anto, phassa samudayo dutiyo anto, phassa nirodho majje, tanha sibba. Now if I really see phassa will produce vedana. So whenever there is a phassa, it will not only produce vedana, it will produce vedana, sanya, sankhara, all the three. So if I am in phassa, I can see the eko anto. Eko anto is phassa, the dutiyo anto is phassa samudayo, vedana samudayo, phassa samudayo, sanya samudayo, phassa samudayo, khara samudayo. Now, let's look at the nirodha. If there were no phassa at all, anywhere, meaning chakku and rupa have not got in contact, sota and sabda has not got in contact, ghana and gandha has not got in contact, then what happens? No vedana, no sanya, no sankhara. Can I watch it like that? You are in nibbana instantly because there is no tanha.
10 years ago, I think it is almost 10 years ago, I had a experience. Can you explain, if you can please explain it? When I was doing Anapanasati in a meditation center in is close to Sri Lankan Parliament, I lost my breath, then I lost my body, then heart speed only heart speed remain, then heart speed also lost, heart sound also lost, then it was remain only, I can't describe it, that means no feeling, no body, then no heart sound, then only there was only it was happen speedily. I can't explain it. It is like Upada Bhanga. It was happen very speedily.
Upada titi bhanga. So what happens here is that, yeah, you are right. When there is nirodha, cessation, you will not have any one of these things. You will not have breath. You will not have any feeling on the body. You will also not have any heartbeat also. I mean, the beating will become so slow that you really cannot make out. So that bhanga state is like a deep sleep state. When you go in a deep sleep, do you know the eyes? No. Do you know the ears? No. Do you know the tongue? No. Do you know the smell? No. Do you know the touch? No. Do you have any thoughts? No. Do you have a heartbeat? No. Meaning there's no knowledge of it. So let's say we are able to do that knowing it. Now in deep sleep, we don't have a knowledge. There is no awareness of the bhanga happening. What if you become aware of the bhanga happening? Then you get into neva sanya na sanyayatana. If you become aware. See, neva sanya is perception. Perception should come with phassa. Right. Now the perception can only happen if there is vijnana. So you can't say you are conscious of the object. You can't say you are not conscious of the object. Meaning, you can't say you are conscious of the feeling. You can't say you are unconscious of the feeling. You can't say you are conscious of perception. You can't say you are unconscious of perception. You can't say you are conscious of a preparation or sankhara, nor you can say I am unconscious of the sankharas.
How do we overcome that stage also?
That is when when automatically it gives up the perception and feeling. And how does that happen? Let's say, how does it work out? Now I am seeing with anicca sanya. The sanya first it has to change is anicca. So out of the vipallasa, I have already cleared the dhitti vipallasa when I became a sotapanna. Then I have this one, what is that? Avijja is there, that is another vipallasa, sanya vipallasa. So now the sanya is anicca sanya should take over instead of the nicca sanya. So in the 5 aggregates, first thing, nibbidha should have happened in rupa. Let us say the nibbidha happens. Then in the vedana, it becomes what? Upekha. Then the third one, sanya, turns into anicca. Fourth one, sankhara, turns into samatha. Fifth one, vijnana, nirodha. So when there is nirodha of vijnana, the nama rupa completely is removed at that moment. You will come out of perception and feeling. And in the same tone, in the Anapana Sati Katha, Sariputta explains how to do it. You have to let go of the perception of and the feeling of the breath. So by only observing the touch, you let go of both the perception and feeling. So you get into Nirodha Samapatti.
At that moment that I explained that my experience, at that moment I started to love that moment.
Yeah, because you would have hit on the Nibbana Dhatu.
Yeah, exactly. So when you do that, if one is able to do that, he's only observing the first and not feeling it. So that means it is in Nibbana state, right? He has jumped all that jhana 1, jhana 2, jhana 3 and direct.
Yes. Yes.
It's not required that for that he need to be in this 1, then 2, then 3 and 4.
No, the 1 to 8 are just an illustration. So in real jhana, you can't say I'm in first jhana and the second jhana and third jhana. You can only make out, but you really cannot say, this is first and I'm not going to second and now second, it is the third, like that. It can so happen. Yeah, go ahead.
So, or which one is true? He has jumped from 1 to 8, or 1 to 8 has happened so quickly that he is not able to define.
The 1 to 8 has happened so quickly that he can't make out.
Okay.
See, even now, as we speak, Sachin, if we are deeply in contemplation on Dhamma, you would have crossed all the 3 jhanas without your knowledge. Because the mind would stay in upekha now. There would be no thoughts at all, to be honest. Okay, now you want to have infinite space. You just make this as amanasikara, the dhatu as amanasikara. And immediately you will enter into the 5th and 6th and 7th and 8th.
So according to Majjhe Sutta, in all these examples, whatever is Majjhe, if you are able to experience, all of them is Nibbana, right?
Yes. Yes. That's the reason he says, no, dukkhasa antakaro hoti. So the anta is ending, or the dukkha is ended, which is Nibbana. So that is the thing about Majjhe Sutta. It's a very good sutta. So if I can practice, let's say on my nostril, it's just touching. And like what Bhante is sitting, I am also sitting and watching. The closed eyes. I shouldn't be watching the long and short and all that. Just watching. If I am not getting it, I should see that from that touch point, you will see it is long or it is short. I shouldn't do the long and short by going along with the breath. I should sit there. That's why you're stopping. You're stopping the mind from moving. And now you're watching long and short. So shall we try for 10-15 minutes? Okay.
Yes.
We'll do one thing. Now it is 9:12. So we will meet up at 9:40.